Mrs. M. Priyadarshini, ME MBA, is doing PhD, is currently working as teaching fellow in the Department of IST, Anna University, Chennai. She completed a master's in software engineering from Anna University. She has about 10 years of experience in handling courses for UG and PG. She was serving as technical evangelist for corporate over 4 years in Java Enterprise Technologies, software engineering, databases, OOAD, and design patterns. She is proficient in handling IT projects as well into concept development for enterprises. She is doing a research in the area of web services security. Her other areas of interest include software engineering, OOAD, databases, enterprise technologies, and service-oriented architecture. She holds many journal publications and conference proceedings in her research area.
Welcome to UGC lecture series in computer science on Java. Today we are going to discuss upon evolution of Java, about Java, Java architecture, basics of Java programming, data types, variables and control structures. So first we will look into evolution of Java. So Smalltalk was the first object oriented language. Smalltalk is a pure object oriented programming language and it had a major influence on the design of Java. So next we will look on what is object orientation. So object orientation means encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, polymorphism, message passing, robust and secure. So we will look into each one of these. So encapsulation. So encapsulation is wrapping up of your data and methods into a single unit called as class or object. So in real world, your application is developed for the purpose of simulating any real time environment. So simulating any real time environment needs objects as well as the representation of class. So for example, we say an employee payroll processing system, so vehicle hiring system, etc. So in that cases we have lot of objects such as employee, your car, hiring. So all these could be represented in a single unit of data as well as methods. So this is what is encapsulation. Next is abstraction. So abstraction is providing only relevant or necessary information to the objects. So for example, I am creating an object and if I want an other object to access this object, I will only show the information which is necessary for that object which accesses it. Next is inheritance. So inheritance is nothing but extending the properties and behavior of already available basic unit called class. So for example, I am having a basic unit called employee. So normally in employee we will have employee ID and all the other details, whereas employee can be extended to be an salaried employee or hourly waged employee. So salaried employee means he will have an additional attribute of a field called basic. In case of hourly waged employee, we will have a field called number of hours. So this is an extension to the basic unit of employee. So this is what is called inheritance. So next we will move on into polymorphism. Polymorphism is nothing but implementation of the behavior in many forms. So for example, if an employee is trying to take up a leave, so the leave process can be in many ways. So for example, calling up of any of your higher official, or you can just give a mail. So or it may be through a letter. So in this case you can have say different implementations for the same method. So this is what is polymorphism. Next is message passing. So message passing is nothing but calling a method from one object to another object. So this is also an object oriented concept. Next is robust and secure. So every object is secured with their access specifier. So in Java we have many access specifier which could make your object to be more secure. Next we will look into origin of Java. Java is brainchild of James Gosling, Patrick Norton, Chris Warth, Ed Frank and Frank Sheridan. So these are all the persons who were at the back of origin of Java. So in 1992 a programming language called Oak came into existence. So this was the base for Java. So Oak was renamed as Java in 1995. So this is meant to be a platform neutral language for embedded software in devices. So first we should discuss upon this. So here, what is platform neutral language? So initially there were many electronic devices which need to be programmed. So each and every time when we change the functionalities of it, when we change the architecture of it, we need to develop a new program each and every time, and also we have to adopt new programming languages. So there was a need for a programming language, and that language was found to be Java. So next we speak about the emergence of WWW leads to the rise of Java because the WWW demanded portability. So first we have to look into what is WWW. So as you all know that today internet is your basic need or basic necessity. So WWW is nothing but World Wide Web. So it is combination of many networks. So Java was used as a prime language which could help you in developing applications which could be run on WWW. So next we will look into characteristics of Java. So what are all the basic characteristics that the Java programming language has? Java is an object oriented language. So already we have seen something on object orientation. Next is Java is secure. So here we need to discuss on more. We have a component called class loader. This class loader component is available in the Java virtual machine. So this class loader component loads the necessary classes from the program class files as well as Java's own set of classes which is already given by Sun. Next, this class loader loads these classes. When these class loader loads the classes, it checks for basic visibility of each and every variables and methods in the classes. So during that time you can very well find out whether there is any malicious code that is loaded for your execution. So this is why Java is said to be a secure programming language. So next is Java is platform independent. So platform independent in the sense, you know what is a platform. So platform is nothing but the operating system you are working on. So the same program which is written in Linux could also be used in Windows. Similarly, it is architectural neutral. So if a program is written and interpreted in any of the architectures, for example in Intel, any of the processors we are writing a program and then later on we are using it for any other environment such as AMD. So we can easily use the same program for those two type of architecture. So that is why it is said to be a architectural neutral. Next is Java is portable. So what is portability? So you can carry your Java programs very easily and you can use it anywhere you like. So your Java is archived in the sense it is packaged in form of .jar file, that is Java archive file. If your Java program is a standalone program, so then it is named as .jar. If it is an application of type web, so if you are going to have your Java program, you put it on the web, so then it will be a WAR file, so that is web archive file. If your Java is an enterprise application, so then the archive is said to be EAR file. So we can just create all the applications, whatever may be the applications, what are all the necessary supporting files, everything is put in form of a archive. So that archive is easy for portability. So next is Java is a multi-threaded programming language. So whenever you run a Java program, a main thread is created. So you know that thread is nothing but a process which has lightweight. So which is of lightweight. So now this thread is created. Once we create a thread, it runs along with your main thread. So such a way we can create many threads in your main program. So you can run a multi-threaded program using Java. So these are all the basic characteristics of Java programming language. So now we look into Java architecture. So initially Java source code will have an extension of .java. So your source code will have an extension of .java, whereas your bytecode, which is a converted form of your source code, will have a .class extension. So your source code will be compiled and it will be converted into bytecode. So bytecode will be an intermediate code format which is platform independent. So it is not dependent on any particular platform. So whenever a bytecode is generated, it will be common for whatever may be the platform. So next is your JVM component. So JVM is nothing but a virtual machine which is installed on your system. So this virtual machine is going to convert your class file into a machine dependent format and it will send the instructions to the OS and then correspondingly to the hardware. So whenever you write a Java program, your Java program should be in form of .java, and then after compilation it becomes a .class file. So this class file is interpreted by the JVM. I think you know what is difference between compilation and interpretation. So compilation is nothing but the whole unit of your program will be compiled, whereas interpretation, each and every line of your code will be interpreted. So normally whenever you have an object file, the object file will be interpreted and then it will be executed on your corresponding operating system. So now this JVM, whenever you install Java software, the JVM will be installed based on your architecture. So based on your architecture as well as based on your platform. So JVM is platform dependent, whereas your bytecode is platform independent. So this gives the platform independency. So next we will see what is available in the JVM. So already we have discussed about this. So we have program class files. So all the class files created by the programmer. So for example, I would have created employee class, I would have created a car class. So all these are called as program files. Whereas here we have a set of Java APIs. So API is nothing but application programming interface. So this Java API is nothing but a set of classes and interfaces package given by Sun for us. So this is a set of predefined classes and interfaces which you can extend and create your own set of classes. The work of this class loader is to load what are all the Java API classes that is needed and what are all the program class files that is needed in order to execute a particular program, and then it will give everything to the execution engine which will execute your program and give you the result. So now we will have a look on a simple Java program. So here you can see that these represents the comment. This application program prints welcome to Java. So here public is an access specifier. So anyway we will look into what is access specifier. So as for now public is nothing but this class is accessible from anywhere. Next is class. So what is the class? I already told you that it is the basic unit of your Java programming language. So it's combination of variables and methods. So here we don't have any variables. In this program we don't have any variables, whereas we have only one method, that is your main method, and then next is my class name. So whenever you write a coding in Java, your class file should always start with the uppercase letter. So now I have given the program name as welcome. Next I have a main method, public static void main, and then I have a set of arguments. So here this set of arguments is nothing but a string array. It is an array of strings. So now system.out.println. So this is similar to that of your scanf and printf in other programming languages like C, and your cin and cout in your C++. So here whenever I execute this particular program, this will print a command called welcome to Java on your console. So here we have to notice lot of things. One is your basic unit is class. We don't have any variables in this class. We have only one method, main method. So if at all you want to run a Java program, the program should have a main method. That too main method with the same prototype. So you can see here this is the main function prototype. So it should be public, it should be static, it should be void, and you should have main with all lowercase and then S caps because it is in class. So the class name always starts with S. So string array, and then the name of the string array is args. So args, it's not necessary that you should always use args. So you can also use any other name. So now public. So public, as I already told you, it could be accessed from anywhere. Static. So what is static? So whenever we speak about static, this particular method could be called even before the creation of your welcome program, that is your creation of the object. Next is void. So void is no return type. You don't have any return type for the main method. Args is nothing but an array of string. So this is nothing but command line arguments. So whenever I run a program, I can give set of inputs through command line. So we will see that anyway later on. So now this program can be written in a notepad, or you can use any IDE, that is integrated development environment such as your Eclipse, your NetBeans, etc. Or else you can just write this program in a notepad, save it with an extension of .java. So now you have a welcome.java file. Now I am compiling this file using a command called javac, welcome.java. So after compilation, I already told you that you will have a file called welcome.class file. So this is nothing but a bytecode. So after your bytecode contents, I can just run this class file by giving a statement called java and then welcome. So this is your source code, this is your bytecode, and then for running I am using java welcome, whereas for compiling I am using javac welcome.java. So with this we will have a short break, and after that we will discuss on how this program could be run. Welcome back after the break, and now we will discuss upon how this program could be run. Number 1. So javac. What is javac? So it is an executable file. Javac is an executable file, and this will be available normally in the bin folder of your JDK. So now this javac could be executed from anywhere. So for example, now you are in D colon, you may be in your E colon, anywhere. So in order to execute your program from anywhere, that is compile your program from anywhere, we need javac to be executable from anywhere. So for this we should set your path to be the path where your javac is available. So then only you can compile this program. Next is, after compilation, normally you have to run this program. So already I have told you that whenever you run this program, all the class files that is needed in order to run this program should be loaded. So in order to load this file, normally what we do is, we need to set up a class path where your class files is available. So already Java API has a set of classes. So what we need to do is, we need to set the bin folder to be the class path for this particular drive or directory where you are in. So now what we do is, we will have our path being set and then our class path being set, and after that we will try to compile and run this program. So this is a procedure for compiling and running your program. So your path should be set and your class path should be set. So whenever you set this in your command window, so in that case this path and class path will be set only till you close your command window. Whereas if you set this in system properties, in that you have an tab called environment variables. If you set that in your environment variables, so then it could be used for all the programs that could be run on your system. So you can choose, or that depends on the requirement of yours. You can set it in the environment variables, or you can even set it in the command window. So next we look into command line arguments. So that is what is use of rguess and how you can use the command line arguments. So now I have public class welcome, the same program, with only difference what I have done is, I have included rguess of 0. So welcome to Java, today is rguess of 0. This rguess of 0 is nothing but rguess, that is your string array, in that your 0th position, that is your first position. So when I compile this, I have to compile this as javac welcome, and then when I run this, I have to run it as java welcome, and then I should give a variable, that is I am giving it as Monday. So now automatically your program will have welcome to Java, today is, and it will take Monday as the argument, and then it will print as welcome to Java, today is Monday. So it means that you can have any number of string arguments during your runtime. Next we will look into what all the basic data types available in Java. Your variables. So variables are nothing but a reserved memory location to store values. So this means that whenever you create a variable, you reserve some space in the memory. Based on the data type of the variable, the operating system allocates memory and decides. So for example, if I am creating a variable with int, so automatically it occupies the variable size that is needed to store an integer, to store a character, etc. What can be stored in the reserved memory. Therefore, by assigning different data types to variables, you can store integers, decimals, characters, all these as various types of variables. So in general, your data types could be classified as primitive data types, reference object data types, or even you can say user defined data types. So we will first look into what all the primitive data types we have. So there are basically 8 primitive data types supported by Java. So its predefined by Java language and the name by a keyword. So, the range of data types normally will be 2 power n minus 1 to 2 power n minus 1 minus 1. So, for example, we will have byte. So, byte is a data type with 8 bit. So, the range will be 2 power 7 to 2 power 7 minus 1. So, if you are not assigning any value to the variable, so the default value will be set to be 0. So, similarly for short, your range of values will be 2 power 15 to 2 power 15 minus 1 and the default value will be 0. So, for int it is 32 bit and the range will be 2 power 31 to 2 power 31 minus 1 and the default value will be 0. Long, so it is 64 bit, range is 2 power 63 to 2 power 63 minus 1 and the default value is 0 and L. So, what is this L? So, this is nothing but a format specifier. So, by default you will have a 0 value and then if you suffix it with L, it means that this value is taken as a long value, and next is float, because by default your values will be in double, and then if you want to be a long value, so I suffix it with L, and then if it is to be a float, then I suffix it with F. So, float is of 32 bit, single precision 32 bit IEEE 754 floating point and the default value will be 0.0 F. So, for double it is 64 bit, double precision 64 bit. For boolean 1 bit information, so it will be false by default. Character, so your default will be /u 0000, it means that it is nothing but 0. So, normally character will be assigned as an ASCII value. We will have a look on a basic program. So, here we have public class name is data type D uppercase and we have a main method. So, this program does not have any variables as such, and your main method, inside that we have a byte value is 23, short s we have given some value, and for I, for long, for float and for character, for double we have given values. So, now here you can look into two important things. One is implicit typecasting and explicit typecasting. So, first we will discuss upon what is type. So, type is here nothing but the data type. What is casting? Casting is converting one particular data type into another particular type. So, that is what is typecasting. So, whenever I try to assign a value which is of lesser size to a higher size, so here B is a byte and then I am trying to convert that into an int. So, here implicitly the typecasting happens. So, that is why it is said to be implicit typecasting. Whereas, here I have a byte value, okay, byte SS is equal to, I am explicitly typecasting with the data type. So, I should have in the braces, I should have which type I need to change. So, here I have an integer and then I am trying to convert that into a byte. So, here byte occupies lesser space than that of the integer. So, we need to have an explicit typecasting being done. So, the same way whenever you create your programs with all objects, we need to follow this explicit typecasting. So, whenever you are trying to assign a value which is of lesser size to a greater size, then it is implicit typecasting, and if you are trying to have a very higher size value inside a variable of very lower size, so then it should be explicitly typecasted. After our primitive data type, we will look into what is meant by reference data type, that is you can also say that as a user defined data types. So, reference variables are created using defined constructors of the class. Next, they are used to access the objects. These variables are declared to be of specific type that could not be changed. So, for example, it may be employee, it may be car, etc. So, classes, objects and various type of array variables come under reference data type. So, as I told you, we have basic unit as class. So, if we create a new class, so then that could be a reference data type. Default value of any reference variable is null. A reference variable can be used to refer to any object of the declared type or any compatible type. So, we should know difference between declared type or compatible type. So, for example, I have one class and I have an other extended class. So, I have already told you in object orientation you can extend your class, that is you can inherit a class. So, already I have a class, I create a new class with some additional variables. So, in that cases I can assign a variable of one type to other type using typecasting. Already we have discussed what is implicit and what is explicit typecasting. So, in that way I can use a variable of one type with a variable of another type which could be typecasted. So, for example, animal is a reference data type. Here it is a class, you know that always class name start with uppercase and your variable name it will start with lowercase is equal to new. So, anyway we will look on into what is new operator, and I am creating a new animal object with the constructor of a variable string. So, here if it is in double quotes it is a string. So, next we will look into what are all the operators we have. So, Java provides a rich set of operators to manipulate the variables. So, we can divide them into the following groups. One is arithmetic operators, relational operators, bitwise operators, logical operators and assignment operators. So, arithmetic operators I need not explain because you know what is basic arithmetic operators what we have. So, here we have plus, minus, multiplication, division, your modulo and then unary plus and unary minus. So, here in relational operator less than, greater than and all such, and this is not equal to and this is equal to. So, whenever we are trying to check for any conditions we have to use double equal to symbols. If it is not equal to we have to use exclamatory mark and then equal to symbol. Next is with bitwise operators. So, I am using AND, OR and then left shift, right shift and your power all these. So, all these are going to operate bitwise. Next is logical operators, your AND operator, NOT operator and OR operator. So, again assignment operators. So, this is equal to plus equal to. So, what is this plus equal to? So, for example, I have A is equal to A plus 1. So, I can just use plus operator and equal to operator. So, which could replace this A is equal to A plus 1 operation. So, similarly, minus equal to, star equal to, divide and equal to, modulo equal to, etc. So, next we will see what all the control structures we have. So, first is loop control. So, we have a while loop and then do while loop. So, whenever I say while loop, so there should be a Boolean expression. So, that there should be an expression which should yield a Boolean value. So, based on the Boolean value your statements will be executed or it will not be executed. So, when this value is true the statements will be executed, and when the Boolean expression returns false this will not be executed. Similarly, in do condition, so do and then I have a set of statements and then I have my while condition. So, in case of while again I have a Boolean expression. So, the result of this could be true or false. So, here difference between this while do and do while is, for the first time whenever it gets executed your do will not check any constraints or conditions like your Boolean expression. Directly the statements will be executed, and after the execution of the statement only your while statement will be checked. Whereas, in case of while, for the first execution your while condition will be checked and then only the statements will get executed. So, it means that the probability is for sure you will have one execution in case of your do while, whereas in case of your while you will have execution only when your Boolean expression becomes true. So, we will continue with other control structures such as for loop and decision making in your next session. As a summary, we will look on what are all the things that we have discussed. So, we have discussed on how Java evolved, that is evolution of Java, and what was the need for a programming language like Java. And then we have seen about Java as well as the architecture of Java. So, the characteristics of the programming language Java, that we have seen it is an object oriented programming language, it is in platform neutral, it is an architectural neutral programming language, and bytecode is the reason for Java to be a platform independent language, and JVM will be installed on the system based on the platform as well as the architecture. So, next is we have seen JVM is the important component of the architecture, and then what is the purpose of the class loader, how class loader gives us the security for Java, and then we have also seen how to write a basic Java program, and then how to compile a program, and for compiling as well as for running what are all the essential things that are necessary that has to be set up. And then we have also seen what are all the various data types that is available, variables as well as the control structure. Now we will have a look on what are all the questions that could be answered by having a clear understanding on this session. So, what type of language is Java? Next is what is difference between your primitive and non-primitive data type, difference between do while and while do. In this session we have discussed upon Java, Java language, your architecture, and then how to write a basic Java program, whereas in later on sessions we will look into what are all the classes available, what are all the APIs available, and then we will explore them much. Thank you.